right, everybody, let's kick off with this story. It is everywhere in Hollywood, and boy, the drama is not ending. So we now have insight into the relationships between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift and other celebrities, thanks to the ongoing legal drama involving the film It Ends With Us. Now, newly unsealed court documents containing text messages and emails from Blake's sexual harassment suit against director Justin Baldoni, they are everywhere now, and everyone's reading them. It looks like Blake pulled her A-list friends into her fight with Baldoni. So we know this because she asked Taylor, Ben Affleck, even Matt Damon to endorse her script revisions for the film. Now, maybe one of the more shocking texts that was unearthed was Taylor Swift calling Baldoni the B word, the B with an itch word, with a tiny violin in an exchange with Blake. Let's react to this and maybe let everybody else know some of the other stuff that was in here. It was not nice.
I don't know about you guys, but here was my first thought last night as this was coming in. I was like, how is it possible that we've only seen 1% of the Epstein files, and yet every single text document, everything is out with
That is so true.
Right? What the heck?
Oh my gosh.
I never thought about it that way, to be honest.
It enraged me last night. I was reading it, and then I was hating myself because I'm like, this is none of my darn business what these texts
You don't
are.
think so?
No. I mean, okay, so I'll make one exception. There was an email or a text exchange with Jenny Slate, who was in the movie. She played Baldoni's sister in It Ends With Us. And Jenny Slate's an actor, but she doesn't have a dog in this hunt. And what I did find interesting was that she had been texting, I think it was her former manager. She said that filming the movie, quote, has been a really gross and disturbing shoot. She also wrote, Justin is truly a false ally, and I'm unwilling to do anything that promotes the image that he's crafting as a male feminist. Honestly, I have no words to describe what a fraud he is. So that, to me, was the first time I'm like, okay, she doesn't really have any reason except for truth in this. So it's
right.
I'll just leave that there.
I gotta say, I know, even though I felt really icky, I loved reading everything yesterday. Okay, I know it was never meant for our eyes, but now that it's unsealed and it was like, oh, it's there, what I love is that there is such a crafted public persona to all of our favorite celebrities. And we're dealing with the biggest ones in Hollywood, Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, and what's their relationship really like. So these texts, imagine someone got a hold of all of your phones right now and read your text. Now, I get it. But this case, for some reason, will not leave the headlines either. And every time something new comes out, I don't know who to believe. I'm like, oh, maybe Justin's right. Maybe Blake is not a great person. And then you read Blake and you're like, oh, no, he's a fake feminist. I will say, I feel like I got more to the bottom of this case than I ever have.
What's your theory?
Blake, I'm on Team Blake Lively.
Okay.
And so thank you for releasing the texts and letting us read them.
I think the whole Taylor Swift thing, though, the reason that they had to release those was because her camp had come out and said that, like, she didn't have any involvement in the film. She never stepped foot on set. She had no part in this. But I think the text messages show that she was conversing with Blake. She was endorsing things. She was part of meetings. So I think that's why they had to release it. But I also think that she's known that this was going to happen. Like, if you know that those were given to the court, at some day they're going to drop. So I think they were waiting for this PR mess to happen. And I also have a theory that she's trying to cover it up with something else. I don't know if you noticed this because you know
Blake?
No, Taylor. Because
okay.
I feel like anything she does is very calculated and it's very purposeful. So she actually released yesterday Opalite and Opalite Life is a Song acoustic version are available only for 48 hours or while supplies last on her website.
Okay, so distract people
so
from the story.
it's too, yesterday my feed was about the text messages and also like, oh my God, for 48 hours you can get this version of Taylor Swift's song Opalite. So I'm like, this is very convenient that you've posted this.
Okay, I love that. That's a deep dive.
That's a new theory from the radio girl.
I'm here for the people whose eyes are glazing over at the very mention of Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Taylor Swift, because I'm like, I don't love or hate them, but I am quite surprised that they're caught in this mess. Do you guys remember there's a huge scandal, News of the World phone hacking scandal. This happened in 2009, 2010. They found 11,000 pages of notes targeting nearly 4,000 people, including politicians, celebrities, and some people who were involved in some crimes. And we're talking pre-Instagram and pre-TikTok. So I'm very surprised that these very high-profile high-profile people would be communicating using text messages and emails. Are you kidding me?
Call.
Even as a regular person, I know if I have something really spicy to say, I gotta say it face to face, because once it's here, and I also watch a lot of those murder shows, and if you watch those murder shows, you know where they always find out what went down? In the phone, because then they can always get your text messages, and they are date and time stamped, folks. So what are they doing? That's the part that really surprised me.
Blake even mentions it. She even mentions it in the text that I'm really paranoid that someone's going to read this.
If I were Taylor, I would get rid of my cell phone altogether.
Burner phones.
Yeah.
Burner phones.
Like a drug dealer. Burner phones. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic. From one nightmare to another, the horror movie Sinners has picked up a record-breaking 16 Oscar nominations. Now get this, that is the most for any movie ever. The 98th Annual Academy Award nominations were announced this morning. So, you guys, what do you make of a horror film breaking the nomination record?
Wow.
It's the first.
Incredible. I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge horror movie fan.
Me too.
Are you
I
really?
love horror movies.
I didn't know that.
It's the only thing that I watch. I can watch a horror movie before going to bed, and I'll have no nightmares. I'll sleep like a little baby.
Really?
It's the best.
Yeah, I've always been, and like, I don't mean to say that all horror movies are created equal. There's a lot of ones that have been terrible over the years. I still enjoy a lot of those ones as well. But I do think that this movie stands out. It was stunning acting, stunning cinematography. The story's incredible. There's so many reasons why I'm so happy it's got its due. But I think this is a genre that has been or traditionally overlooked. You think about one of the most classic movies on most cinephiles' best 100 of all time. That's The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick. It had Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall. The acting, the story, everything was incredible. And it received exactly, I think, 0 nominations.
Wow.
In fact, in the history of Oscar, only 6 films have been nominated for Best Picture that are horror. The Exorcist, Jaws, Silence of the Lamb, The Sixth Sense, Black Swan, and Get Out. And Silence of the Lambs was the only one that won. So anyway, I'm just so happy, and I hope this movie, everyone goes and sees it who likes horror, or maybe who even doesn't.
Yeah. Also, watch it for Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a Michael B. Jordan fan.
I love him. Also, he plays 2 characters, CCW.
Three. Yeah, he really plays, because he plays the twins, and then when he plays the vampire version of the twins, so it's really 3 characters.
Wow.
So it's a huge deal. For me, the success of this movie goes beyond these nominations, goes beyond it being called a horror. This is the first time that we're seeing an not the first time, but an original screenplay being celebrated. And I know right now, you know, studios are so risk adverse, and that's why we keep getting all of these superhero movies, right? And all of these reboots. So just that alone, whether they win or not, it's a win, because then it tells the studios, yes, the audience is there. We want original stories. We don't want to see 19 Batmans and 17 Supermans, right? So it's great, but there are also 2 other reasons why I think this is a win, regardless if they get the hardware, and that's for Delroy Lindo, who is nominated. He's in the movie. He's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He was roommates with Denzel Washington in college, by the way. He has over 70 movies to his credit, and this is his first Oscar nomination.
Good for him.
So that's huge. And also, the movie involves Buddy Guy. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it, but he is a blues guitarist and singer. If you know, you know. He has been performing since 1953. And now, because of this movie, he has a whole new genre of fans. He said that he's been going to the same grocery store for 30 years, and then for the first time, the cashier started freaking out. And he was like, girl, I've been coming here for 30 years. But because of Sinners, people know him. So for those 2 reasons, to me, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. They've already won in so many ways.
Can I add 2 more to that amazing list?
Yeah.
For a record 5th Oscar nomination, costume designer Ruth E. Carter has been nominated again.
Yeah.
And she's a Black female costume designer, so she is back with another nomination. And also for the 4th time only in Oscars history, a female cinematographer for the film. Her name is Autumn Arkapaw. She has also been nominated for the first time. So,
and you also reminded me, this is the first time we have a majority Black film that's not about slavery. So let's give it a good clap.
Yeah. We want to tell everybody, Sinners, I mean, I still have to watch it. You guys got me all excited for it.
Watch it.
It is streaming on Crave, so make sure to check it out as soon as possible.
So is offering to work for a lower wage ever worth it? Slate is reporting that young women are offering to accept salaries below what's listed in the job description. And a big reason for that is anyone looking to get into the job market today has a 0.4% chance. That's 0.4% chance of being hired. Whoa. So is offering to take less money ever worth it?
No. No.
That was a quick answer,
No,
Deepa.
definitely not. It's
Yeah.
because I've had experience with this and hearing that it's specifically women. That's so sad because I feel like we're already undervalued in the workplace when you're comparing salaries to your male counterparts and all of that. So I started in the industry really young, and I remember my first couple of jobs. What I was offered was way, way, way less than what I thought I was gonna get. However, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get my foot in the door and things are just gonna get better and better. I'm gonna show them that like I'll do everything. And then the goalpost for my raises kept changing. It was like, oh, you did this, however, oh, that was great, but can you do this now? So I would say like over a span of 4 years, I never got a raise, but my job expectations were so much more, my hours were more, and that just made me unhappy because I'm like, I'm not getting paid what I was worth.
Yep.
So I don't think it's worth it for your own happiness and knowing your own value. I think that's important.
I
Step into a
totally
job.
understand. You're totally right. And if hearing this story, when I think of what am I going to tell my daughter, that's
Yeah.
the stuff that I think about. I will say, and I don't know if this applies to you, this is an almost unprecedented time for young people to try to get hired. There are people who are leaving post-secondary education, degrees in hands, even MBAs, who are not finding jobs. So there's a certain point where it's survival. It's paying rent. It's trying to feed yourself. If you're trying to get out of mom and dad's house, there's certain points where it's desperation. And so, you know, the saying, beggars can't be choosers. Now, I take gender out of it for a second for the idea of survival. There is a gender pay gap. We know that. They say it's going to take 120 years. And if we do take lower wages out of the gate, it's going to be 250 years before we ever close that gap. However, there is something to be said for our generation, which is we used to do a thing called unpaid internships.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying to go back there. What I am saying is it gave us soft skills. It gave us experience. The kids today have a catch-22.
Yeah.
They're not getting the job because they don't have experience, but they don't have experience because they're not getting the job. So I wonder if there is some kind of middle ground here where you might have to temporarily take the hit, try to get some of those skills, and then at a certain point say, I know what my worth is. Now, I'm not saying it's the perfect fix, and gender is definitely a part of this.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it is survival. The average national unemployment rate is at 6.8%. Do you know what it is for people 15 to 25? 15%. It's almost double.
And
this
yet,
is real.
Like the CEOs and the leaders are making more and more money every single year, right? So
Good
this is where
point,
I was
Miz.
like, I get worried about what also the precedent this sets. If you're actually taking less money, like if you fast forward that down the road, this is a terrible comparison, but when I was belly dancing, we kind of made an agreement with the other dancers where like everybody has to set a price and it has to be the same for the same value. Because if one person starts undercutting, that's when you know that, okay, well, someone will take that job, and then the next person has to undercut. And if you fast forward this into careers, what are
It's a
women
race
going
to
to
the
be
bottom.
making?
Yeah.
It's a race to the bottom.
Yeah, and then you also got to worry about the employer who would hear that from somebody sitting across the table wanting a job and be okay with that. Because I'll tell you, if I'm looking to hire someone, I'm looking for the best and the brightest. And I understand that things are tight. But if at the end of the interview you say, hey, I know you're offering 70, but I'll do it for 45. I'm sitting back and I'm like, wait a second, you don't value yourself. Why? I didn't ask you to do that. I know you're hungry for the job, but this is not what you do. Because if that person hires you, think about the way they're going to treat you while you're at that job. And you made great examples.
Yeah.
They're never going to give you that promotion. Because in their mind, they know they can get you for absolutely nothing. Now, in my experience, listen, my career path has not been a straight line. It's been jagged. It's been back and forth. I've taken jobs that didn't pay as much as I wanted to because I wanted to keep myself in the industry. But I'd say to do this, I would only do this if I really, because sometimes I understand unemployment's not cute, but I would only do this if this was in a field that I was not trying to take seriously. I just need a job. You know, you're going to be there for 6 months. You do that. But if this is a career path, I wouldn't do this as a bad
Interesting.
move.
That's interesting because I would only do it if it was a stepping stone, a very clear path towards my career.
I'm not offering less. What I'm saying is I'm not offering myself for less in my career path. I'm doing it for just some job.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right? But my career where I know that this is my future, I'm not doing
I'll
that.
just say
Otherwise, it'd be at
quickly,
that
I know we have
level.
to switch, but like I took a demotion once from a job. I was working at a certain television show and I wanted to get to another television show. I was making a certain amount of money and I took a demotion in order to get
Here's the deal.
closer
And
to what I wanted to do.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
I would do
Okay.
that. But what I'm saying is sitting in the room and saying, I will take less.
Right.
Just because I need this job, I wouldn't do it in a career path. I would do it for just like an hourly wage job.
Got it,
if I
got
really
it,
need
got
it.
it. That
So
makes
just so we're
sense.
clear, so don't offer me less because I'm not taking it. All right. So next up, are you an aspirational hoarder?
Yes.
Okay. According to the Washington Post, that's someone who holds on to things because they represent the version of themselves that they would like to be. So is this for you guys? Audience is real quiet. I don't know you guys what to make of it.
Guilty as charged. Really? Guilty as charged. I'm an aspirational hoarder, and I know this is supposed to be forward-looking, but I'm also an aspirational regressive hoarder, because I have stuff from like back in the day that I'm like, oh, there's sentimental value, but it's like, oh my gosh, imagine if I could fit into this again one day. So I aspire to that, but my aspirational hoarding, it's a problem. Like I do this in my closet. It's with my clothes. It's not my tchotchkes.
I've seen
You've
your
seen
closet.
it.
Okay.
So it's the forward look. So my aspirational hoarding, I don't think is a negative thing, because usually when I'm aspirationally hoarding, it is for clothes that I'd like to wear on a future vacation.
Oh, I like that.
So I get something and I'm like, I'm leaving the tags on, but I can see myself in the Maldives, in
That makes
Bora
sense.
Bora.
Oh, you're
And
like
then
manifesting.
Yeah.
It's manifesting clutter,
Well,
actually.
right
I think you've got a combination of nostalgic clutter and manifesting clutter. I don't know if it's
Yes.
aspirational clutter. I think of aspirational clutter like in my mind, part of me is like this artsy and crafty girl. And so I have a bin full of things. Like took up knitting briefly when I was pregnant, and I really made a mobile. And I never make time for this stuff, but there's a version of me that I aspire to who is making stuff and like giving it to
Mobiles.
people.
I get it.
don't know.
I
don't
get
know.
it. I definitely aspirational hoard. I think I want to become my mother in the future. So any West Indian people in the audience right now? Yes! Okay, so there's this specific dinnerware set. It's called Corelle. It's the ugliest, most hideous dish, and the cup and the bowl. And I took this from my mother's house. I have like 20 of them, and anytime I put it out to serve food, I'm like, this is so ugly. Why am I doing this? But it was part of my childhood, and I'm like, oh, I would love to pass this on to my kids, but why would they care? They have no connection to this thing, but I'm like, oh, I want to be like my mom when I grow up. So I took her dishes, but it's ugly. I don't really need to. It's ugly. That's the point.
I didn't get this at all. I don't do this. I don't buy things for a future thing. I'm the type of person, when I'm going on vacation, I'm buying stuff on Amazon like days before I leave for that trip, praying that it arrives. I'm more like I edit. I only, like, when I get something, it's secondhand the minute it gets in my house. I don't buy things for the future, because I've learned in life, you don't know what's down the road. You don't know if you're going to be here. You don't know what next year looks like. So buy things that you're going to use now. This aspirational stuff, no, honey, as soon as it's in my hands, I'm using it. But, to each their own. If you want to make a mobile, make those mobiles.
Get the Corelle dishes. They don't
Get
break.
those ugly dishes so you make
true.
your mom or your
Yeah,
future
true.
children happy.
They've been around for 50 years. so
They
you're
don't
good.
make them like that
They don't. They
anymore.
definitely
It's
don't.
Very true.
There's a
That's
reason
true.
why.
All right, we love this. The next topic is coming to us from Deepa, your own morning show. So over to you.
Okay, so a listener actually wrote into us for advice on a relationship riddle, and they said, I've been seeing a guy for 2 months, and we've gone on 5 dates. Things were starting to get really serious until last night when he told me he has a child. He left that out on the first 4 dates we'd been on, and not to mention all of the texts and phone calls we've had in between. And when I asked why he didn't share that before, he said he didn't want to scare me away and wanted me to get to know him first. And I get why he waited, but I still think he was being deceitful for hiding it until now. Do you think that I am overreacting?
What a brilliant audience you guys are. You're not overreacting. You know what? One thing that I've learned in all my dating is that, in the very, very beginning, a person does show you who they are, and those red flags are there. But sometimes we're so concerned with, like, do they like me? What about my outfit? That we don't pay attention. We also sometimes want it to work so badly that we don't pay attention to those things, and this is a prime example. The fact that you would hide somebody who is in your life every single day from me because you're worried about how I'm gonna feel about it, to me, is a red flag and proof of a person, right? Proof of a person who is not honest, and you're not gonna ever get transparency. You're always gonna have to ask the right question to get the truth from him. And that is a red flag as far as I'm concerned in a relationship. Also, I don't like you deciding for me how I'm gonna feel about your life. Tell me things from the get-go, and don't be like, well, I wanted you to get, no, listen, this is not about you having some weird mole on your backside. This is a part of your life. This is your child. So for me, I'd be like, no, thank you. You can call me whatever you want. I'm out of there.
So I will try. I don't disagree, but let me try to defend him for just a hot second. So he says, I didn't want to scare you away, or whatever his reasoning was.
Yeah.
So what if, he's clearly had experiences where he's gone on dates and things have gone awry the second that he has said the words, which I guess is in one way a way for him to filter out who's not right for his child. He has to look out for himself, but he has to look out for the child as well. This is someone who could be a future mother figure for his child. So what if there is a part of him that says, you know, I need to even, before those words even come out of my mouth, is this even worth it? He doesn't have to share every single part of his life. Not that the child isn't an important part, but do I even like you enough to tell you this? So I think if I'm trying to, trust me, I'm trying to defend the guy. What if there's a part of you that says, you know, we don't always show our true selves that first date, that second date. It takes a few dates before the masks start to come down and a little bit more of the real person comes through. And what if the real person on the other side for him is this woman who he's like, whoa, no shot that she's gonna come into my child's life. He just dodged a bullet too. How about that? Yeah?
No. Wait. Because here's the deal, telling me about your child and meeting your child are two different things. And you're right. I think if you're a parent, you should be very cautious about who you introduce your child to. But telling me that your child exists is something that you need to do. Because if I know you got a brother and a sister, and I know where you work, and I know what car you drive, but your kid you'll hide, that's problematic.
Listen, I totally agree with you. I mean, I think we all agree that there's something weird with this, and I can't imagine a mother ever just not being right at the guy, like I have a child. But I do think, I wonder if there's a world in which we've heard that story where somebody had a thing on their deal breaker list, and a lot of people, that might be a child. And then they maybe didn't know right away, and then they decided, they got to know this person, and they were like, you know what? I like this person so much that I don't care. I'm ready to become this extra person. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying we've heard stories like this before where it's like, all of a sudden, I do want to be a stepmother, and I never thought about it before, and it would have been a deal breaker on date one.
But you still got to give me the chance to do that. You
fair enough.
got to
I
give
agree.
me the chance to make that decision.
I also think it's how you handle the situation afterwards, like when she addressed it and was like, hey, like you didn't tell me this before. It's how is he responding to that? I know he was like, oh, I didn't want to scare you away, but is he like, well, it's really not that big of a deal when they continue conversations. I think the aftermath of that also matters, and considering like, were you overreacting or were you not overreacting?
Totally.
So it's also having that foresight as well, I think.
Yes, agreed.
Fascinating
He's
discussion.
trash, bro. Get rid of him. Sorry.
Relationship riddle. Hey, Deepa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank
We really
you.
love it. Love it.
You and your corral plate.
Yeah, I know. I love them.
All right, you can catch Deepa co-hosting Toronto's 99.9 Virgin Radio morning show, Darren and Deepa. It is weekday starting at 5:30 a.m. Eastern. Ooh, you've been up early.
Very early.
Yes, you have.